There you go.
Oh, yeah, I got the door.
How you wanted to end this season, just your thoughts on the game.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
we just beat ourselves today. False starts, turnovers, mental errors. Certainly wasn't high-level football today.
Do you think that's because it was the end of the season, or do you think it's just sometimes you have those games, the opponent, mixture?
It's tough to say. I mean, we certainly can't have the mental errors we had today. What caused that? I don't know. But can't happen.
You were able to keep Myles Garrett out until we finally got the one late. What was the approach to kind of how big of a part of the game plan was keeping him neutralized and out of the back?
Yeah, you have to if you want to be successful against that team. He's the focus of our game plan every time we play him. It's no secret. You have to, and it's challenging because you have to commit resources to that, and that takes away resources from elsewhere. But for the most part, I thought we were pretty good against him today. But you can see how impactful he is. We had no help on him one time, and he gets one. And then he was, I'm pretty sure it was him that put his hand up and knocked the ball down on the goal line into an interception. I don't know that for sure because I haven't watched the tape, but it was his side. It was one of those guys over there. So he's an aware, elite player that you have to revolve your game plan around.
I know we've asked you a lot about the future, so sorry for a few future questions last time we get to talk to you for a little bit. How involved do you plan to be? I know you said quarterback, but you also know your voice carries a lot of weight here in this organization. How involved do you plan to be in conversations with Mike, Duke, Zach immediately following the season about what you think and what you want this franchise to do to make sure that this offseason goes the way that you want it to?
Yeah, I think we'll have those meetings the next couple of days. I think for the most part we're all on the same page about what we have to do and where we have to go. Without having the meetings, it's tough to say, but I know they certainly value my opinion. I think about things critically. I think that I can provide some insight into things going on in the locker room and on the field that could help us win, and so I plan to voice some things just like I do every offseason.
Just to follow up on that, I know you're not going to share a lot publicly, but whatever you're comfortable sharing, if you had to say what you want to see most this offseason done by this organization to help support you, what would you say it is?
Yeah, it's tough to say right now without talking to people, and those meetings will be done the next few days. I'm very confident in our coaching staff. I know those guys work really hard to put us in good positions, and I always feel well prepared and put in the best spot to go out and succeed. So from that standpoint, I think we're in a good spot.
Do you have the same level of confidence in the organization as you did at the beginning of the year, higher or lower?
We all want to win.
Do you think your championship mindset is being matched organizationally? Do you see that? Do you feel that?
I mean, I sure hope so. I think I know everybody's frustrated right now, so it's hard to. There's a disconnect during the season. We're all down here and focused on the day-to-day and trying to get better, and it's their job upstairs to focus on the big picture and where we need to go and who we need to be. So I know they're committed to that.
When you guys were winning division titles and going to the AFC Championship game and went to Super Bowl 56, the big reason why was some of your free agents that you guys brought in and external guys. How important do you think for this organization?
Yeah, that's of paramount importance. I think you have to identify where you're weak and figure out a way to be strong in that area. That's the NFL year in and year out. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but you have to attack that period with intent to get better.
Were you surprised by the South game when Garrett got the record? Zach said the officials hadn't informed him in advance. So that
Yeah, I mean, was I surprised? No. No, I wasn't surprised. That's typically how they handle those kinds of situations.
Can you walk us through that play and that led on his sack, what y'all called it, kind of how he won? Do you remember?
You know, I'm trying to remember if we had. It's tough to recall right now the exact protection IDs on that. Whether we, because certain looks you can't have help on 95 because of the potential pressure responses that they give. But it's tough to remember the exact call in that situation off the top of my head.
When going back to some of the earlier questions, when you guys are this far removed now from being in the postseason, does that kind of wear on you and build maybe a little bit more pressure, on everybody to get back to that point when it gets further and further away from where y'all expect to be?
We certainly aren't where we want or need to be. Not where I expect to be. So. Yeah, we have to figure it out. We got to figure it out.
I don't think Shania had a catch in the second half until that last drive. Anything you guys do that opened it up or anything?
No, not particularly. We wanted to come in and run the ball, try to mitigate the effect of their rush, and I think we ran it well. We got to a point in the game that we couldn't really do that anymore, so then we started dropping back and throwing it a little more, and I thought we were effective.
I don't think they had their top corners early. Did you try to take advantage of that, or was it kind of that they went into something different?
Yeah, I think we did take advantage of that for the most part. I think we moved the ball well all day. It came down to them making a play on the goal line, putting their hand up, getting a tip, and then we fumbled and gave them another 7 points. So without those two corners out there, they certainly called the game a little differently than they would have otherwise. And I also thought we responded well to that and had the answers to those coverages that we were facing.
You talked about needing to find a way to be on the field more when you've reflected on this season. With so many of your injuries just being fluke, what do you mean by that, and what can you do if you can do anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. I work really hard to be great at this and try to put myself in a good position and put the team in a good position. So, whatever that looks like, I'm not sure. I'm going to certainly think critically about that and maybe make some changes, maybe not. Maybe I decide that what I'm doing is great and putting myself in a good position and, things happen. But certainly we'll think about it.
Physically, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel good. I feel good.
Mentally and physically, how would you rate your performances since you've been back, and do you feel like you are given 100% all the way?
Yeah, I'm really proud of what I did this year. I came back from an injury faster than any human ever has. I'm really proud of that. I think I came back and played some really good football. I had one bad game, and you certainly don't want any of those, but I'm certainly not going to lose my mind over that. I think, when I came back, I played some really high-level football, and I'm certainly proud of what I did this year.
Would you want to win Comeback Player of the Year? I don't know if you can win it after being out in the same season.
Would I be eligible for it next year?
I don't know.
Maybe next year.
You look at where your career is 6 years in, is it easier or more difficult to block out the questions of what could have been if, you don't miss so much time with injuries in those 6 years?
Yeah, we're at where we're at. I'm at where what's happened has happened. Certainly don't want to miss as much time as I have, but that's where I'm at. So all you can do is evaluate the position that you're in and try to get better from there.
You kind
Joe,
of
Zach was at-
indirectly talked about kind of the pursuit of happiness more than you ever have. Why has that been such a big theme for you over the course of the season?
You know, I think if you want to play this game for a long time, you got to enjoy what you do and who you do it with, and you know, injuries certainly take a toll on that. And I just think in life, I certainly don't want to let losing and where our team is at the moment, you know, affect all the other areas of my life. Certainly not happy with where we're at, but you know, I'm not going to let that affect who I am and what I do and how I think about things.
Has that been a big shift? I think a lot of times a lot of people will say it's been such a big part of your life as it is. Have you been trying to maybe separate how much happiness you get from playing the game and how much it affects the rest of you? Is that pretty fair to say, you think?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I work really hard at this, so it's certainly a hard pill to swallow when I'm getting injured the way that I am and we're losing the way that we are. And so, you know, I haven't gotten that joy out of this that I used to from, you know, the joy that I got was winning. And we certainly haven't had that success that we expect. And so I'm not just going to sit around and mope and be miserable to be around from my loved ones and all of that. So I think it's just growth and maturity.
Is there anything different you're going to do maybe this offseason as you get prepared? Have you thought about that far yet?
Yes, I have thought about it, but not critically to the point of change yet.
Joe, Zach,
What's
is that
What's the next week like for you?
Relax, be around friends and family, and stay up late. Stay in bed late.
what's late?
Who knows right now? I got no obligations for a while, so I'll just go to sleep when I get tired, I guess. Who knows?
Joe, Zach was asked about his message to the team after the game and the way you guys lost this game. He said it was a little bit fitting. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's certainly a microcosm of how things have gone these last 2 years. We certainly expect to win that game, and we didn't make the plays to do it. And you can say that for a lot of games over the last 2 years.
Joe, two-part question from me. One, how did the offensive line grow this year? And also with having Joe Flacco around, can you pick his brains?
Yeah, I think the O-line had their best year since I've been here. You know, I didn't get to experience much of it at the beginning of the year, but since I've come back, I think it's the best that they've been. I think we've run it the best that we've run it since I've been here as well, and I think that has opened up certain aspects of our offense. And I really enjoyed having Joe in the room, getting to know him, and you know, sharing laughs and stories and all of that. We had a great quarterback room this year that you know, I didn't get to take as much part in it as I would have liked, but you know, when I wasn't there, I had a lot of fun.
You guys come back from off-season workouts and Joe Flacco is back in that room. Would that make you happy?
Yeah, I'd love that. I think, number one, he played well when he was in there, and he was fun to watch. And you know, he brings a certain perspective that you don't. It's certainly unique. You don't get to be around guys that have played as long as he does and seen as much football as he has. And you know, I think he would be valuable for us.
Well, it seemed like he got close a couple of times before he got that sack. Not just, maybe not even just today, but throughout the times you face him. How much does going up against him really test that, you know, that internal clock more, and as far as your reads and everything to make sure that you're going to the right place, that you know where you need to be just in case, because, you know, that's a guy that's just, like everybody said, he's just so much more athletic than most guys out there.
Yeah, I certainly don't go into a play thinking about it, but my natural instincts kick in, and you feel them quickly, often, and you know, that certainly affects how far you can push the ball down the field, the protections that you can call, the plays that you can call, and how quickly you want to get the ball out of your hands. You know, he's the best at what he does, and You try to mitigate that as much as you can with your play calls, your protection plan, and then how your quarterback plays.
How big are these next 8 months for the organization, just to make sure that this drought ends at 3, so that it doesn't go to 4, say you're competing for the division again, trying to get back to the playoffs, back to the AFC title game, et cetera, et cetera?
As big as it gets. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.